Lead by 13.
Welcome to another episode of MPX Game Talk. I am Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And today we have a lot of Nintendo news. A matter of fact, it's kind of going to dominate the headlines here. Just a lot went on since the Nintendo Direct a week ago. So we have a lot to talk about when it comes to Nintendo. But first, Blaze, what are you playing?
Well, what I am playing is The Last of Us. Just in time for the new season of The Last of Us to show up on HBO in a couple days. That is the main reason I started playing this, to be honest. Well, I wanted to replay this anyways, because I've never played Last of Us 2. But I wanted to go through The Last of Us 1 first. Also the DLC, because I never played the DLC, and I do have the DLC access right now. So I kind of wanted to go through, replay The Last of Us. It's a great game. Absolutely fantastic game. This is my second time playing through it. And I was probably going to rewatch the first season of The Last of Us as well to get I'm really excited for season 2 is what I'm trying to say of The Last of Us on HBO.
Yeah, I'm excited. It starts up here real soon, any day now, right?
I think it's the 10th or 11th. I think it's either tomorrow or Friday. I'd have to double check, but it's very, very soon. But this is, if you've never played The Last of Us, it is 100% worth giving it a shot. If you're a gamer, this is like one of the must plays on the PlayStation. I remember playing it. It evokes emotion. The very ending. Oh, it's the 13th. It's Sunday. So it comes out this Sunday. The very ending is, holy crap. You have to make a decision, and it is not easy if you have any kind of heart. You have to make a decision that is essentially logic and heart. And I don't know what it's one of those endings that I don't know if either one is the right answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we don't want to go spoiling anything. But yeah, it's got a heck of an ending. It is a great game. I remember playing this, and I've played part 2, which I know you haven't got to yet. But yeah, this is one of the best games out there. And then the TV show really adapted it amazingly, like just almost 1-to-1, like episode to the game. Just
possibly one of the best,
almost perfect.
Possibly one of, which in fairness, The Last of Us plays like a cinematic movie. I mean, it is a game, and it's fun. It's a fun game, but it's like one major like movie. And I just now realized that I missed that pendant because I passed this area and I did not grab that pendant.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
So,
anyways, but yeah, no, it's like the game plays like a show, a movie, or whatever. Very like heart-wrenching story. It's a fantastic. It's one of the most perfect games to introduce into a show, and it worked so well. absolutely loved the show. And I'm really excited about the second one. I'm excited about the second game. I'm excited about the second season of the show. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Strong
So
recommend.
yeah, definitely. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe PlayStation has announced they're re-releasing this yet again, in some kind of a collection. I think they're releasing like a Last of Us 1 and 2 actual upgraded collection or whatever. Um, I
I
don't
had
think there's a release date. I think it's rumors at this point, but sounds like they might be re-releasing this game yet again. Which, with season 2 about ready to start, it kind of makes sense to do something to kind of spark some kind of interest in buying another
uh,
copy of this game.
well, yeah. I mean, I believe the first season was one of the most popular shows on HBO, and that's from not just gamers, but I know quite a few people who don't play games very much who also watched the show and loved it. Like, and maybe a lot of them were like, well, my husband likes this game or something like that. And so we watched the show and the show was great. But even besides that, there's a lot of non gamers that really enjoyed the show. And, and those non gamers could become gamers. So yeah, it makes all the sense in the world to re-release it. I mean, you have two of the best games. Well, I can't say two because I haven't played Last of Us 2. I can't really, it's hard to judge a game I've never played, but you have one of the most popular shows on HBO. And you milk that. You absolutely milk it. But I had to
Yeah, so
skip a
that's
scene there because I was about to have a major spoiler there. I just
yeah, we
realized.
don't want to do that. So, but yeah, definitely if you haven't played it yet, if you're one of the few that have yet to play this game, The Last of Us is special. The Last of Us 2 is just as good. They are a great, combination of game, and they tie in really, very well together as a sequel. So yeah, please don't go play Last of Us 2 before playing Last of Us 1, because you'll be a little disappointed because you won't have
Yeah,
a
it's
clue what's going on. Although I do think it was such a good adaptation, you could probably watch season 1 on HBO Max, and you could jump into the second game and not be lost because it
that's
ties in
true.
so well.
That's
So that
true.
that
It is a
is that
pretty.
is true, but I mean, I definitely would recommend playing 1 and 2 together in sequence there. But that is
Which
what
is what
Blaze
I'm
is
trying to
playing.
do.
Yeah, that is what Blaze is playing, is The Last of Us, and yeah, definitely, it's a amazing game, and it's definitely a good recommendation. Me, on the other hand, I finally picked up a game that I've kind of been looking for a while. I kind of missed it when it launched. I was a little busy with life and just in general, and just wasn't able to get it. But luckily, found it at a game store for a good price, and I am now finally playing Metroid Dread. Kind of, with the excitement of Metroid Prime 4 coming out, I've kind of been in a Metroid mood. Just finished Metroid Prime 1 remastered on the Switch, and finally got a chance to play Dread. And I am telling you, I am not disappointed. This game plays like a modern Super Nintendo Super Metroid game, just with modern mechanics and everything, just upgraded visuals and everything. It's kind of that 2.5D, style. So it's a 2D game, but it's got, kind of 3D looking elements to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, here you are watching it, and this game is fantastic. If anybody who's played Super Metroid, you will feel right at home with this game. With, in my opinion, even kind of easier mechanics, buttons. It just plays really well for a modern audience. Um, but yeah, I've just been playing through this. I think I'm close to the end. I don't know. It's hard to say. I've been playing it for nonstop for a couple days now, and I'm just having a fantastic time with it. Anybody who likes that progression system, that Metroidvania style, obviously the name comes from Metroid and Castlevania. But that whole idea of you go into the world and doors are locked and places are you can't get certain places because you don't have certain abilities, so you got to go and find those abilities, and once you get those abilities, you can move further into the world and search the world and everything. And it is just an amazing, amazing game. My only gripe, and I had the same gripe with Super Metroid, is man, or what is it, Speed Shark? I'm losing the name, but basically where you zip real fast and then you have to hit down and then you speed spark or spine spark or whatever it's called. Those moves are rough. Those are hard, but I don't know. I'm a completionist, so I've definitely kept trying. I'll try, I'll try for a whole hour trying to get one missile, uh, piece or whatever. Just those those puzzles are kind of a pain in the butt, but if you played Metroid, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this game's fantastic. I'm loving my playthrough. I'm gonna definitely 100% this game. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than this is a fantastic Metroid game. Probably up there with Super Metroid, maybe even better. I don't know. It might be better than Super Metroid just with the updated visuals and updated control scheme. It's definitely easier to play with the analog stick versus the D-pad, which obviously the D-pad what you all you had on the Super Nintendo. It makes doing certain moves a little bit smoother and easier. So yeah, anybody who's interested in getting into Metroid, this is a great, great game. I'm having a fantastic time with it. Love the Metroid series. Once again, hope they re-release 2 and 3 before 4 comes out later this year. And that's if I can get a hold of a Switch 2 to begin with. My gosh, which I I know Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game also, but at this point, I want to play it with the updated 4K graphics and everything. With the I definitely want to play it on the Switch 2. Not sure how I feel about the whole mouse control thing. I've heard a lot of people really, really like mouse control for first person shooters and stuff, but I don't
Well,
know. I've
computer people like it.
never been a PC gamer, so I don't know. I might check it out just to say I checked it out, but I don't know if I would stick with it. I'm pretty impartial to my dual analog regular video game controllers, but that's just what I've used my whole life. So I'm just not, I'm not somebody that's, looking like if the gimmick was like on the Wii when Metroid Prime came out and it was like motion control and you can point at the screen, I would rather spin the controls sideways and play normal. That's just how I like to play. So I don't think the mouse controls are going to do anything for me. But the updated visuals and stuff, I'm definitely wanting to play that on Switch 2, and I really don't want to play it on Switch 1. Um, so I would be patient enough to wait until I can get a hold of the Switch 2 if I don't get one at launch.
Yeah. I will say that this game looks a lot more interesting than Metroid Prime, the Metroid Prime series. I don't know, like the Prime series just looks like any other shooter, like Halo or something. But this actually, the Metroid games were unique. I was never a big fan of Metroid, but I would say that the side scrollings definitely look way more unique and more entertaining than just the first person shooter.
Well, I can tell you, definitely playing the games back to back, Metroid Prime is essentially the same type. It's the same type of game. They just changed the perspective of being first person instead of 2D. But the actual progression, getting the different abilities. I mean, the game is essentially identical. It's just the way you play that game is what's different. So if you go into it thinking, oh, it's going to be just a shooter like a Halo or a Call of Duty, that's not what you're getting with the Metroid Prime game. You're just getting that first person perspective
It's
in
not
this
like I'm.
same type of game.
It's not like I'm unaware of her abilities and stuff. I just think it works better. It looks like it works better for a 2D than it does. I'm not super interested in playing Metroid regardless, but I'm saying that the 2D just seems better and more unique. And this does look beautiful, like animation wise and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for you, without owning this game, I would definitely recommend just popping the Super Metroid on the NSO and giving it a try. If you want to, because they play very similar, just you get the modern kind of control scheme on this Dread. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
then the better looking visuals. You know, that's what you're getting with this. Um, Now it's not a remake, so the levels are different. And everything that you got different enemies and all that good stuff.
No, I realize that.
But yeah, it's the same concept type of game, and it's really fun. I really enjoy this game. Um, Even if I am cussing at the screen when I think a boss is like completely cheating. So there's a few moments in this game where I've been like, this is not right. But I don't know. I just got to get better, and finally, eventually, I do beat those bosses. But you know what I mean. But
Right.
that is what I am playing. I've really enjoying it, and I definitely recommend it. It's one of the best Switch games I think I've played.
All right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our headlines. And kind of one of the biggest headlines. Well, you know what? We haven't even really talked about it, but obviously, it's all out there, all over the place. Is that they delayed the pre-orders for the Switch 2, which is like a huge thing, and not only did they delay it for the United States, but as of yesterday, they also started delaying it for Canada. And they have decided that the Canadian pre-orders are also going to be delayed until the U.S. pre-orders start. And I think a lot of that had to do with they were worried that all the U.S. Customers were going to start trying to take the Canadian pre-orders, and it was going to be a huge mess because you'd have all the United States trying to pre-order as long as as well as all the Canadian fans trying to pre-order. And I just think they knew it was going to be a mess. I actually heard this morning that the UK pre-orders already went live, and some people in the United States also tried to get the UK pre-orders. And I guess websites like Amazon have actually started canceling US pre-orders. So I don't know what the deal is, but they are literally trying to prevent anybody from the United States shipping this back to the United States. They literally are. I don't know what the deal is, but I heard that UK pre-orders are starting to get canceled if you're from the United States. So the pre-order situation with the Switch 2 is not good right now. I've been to GameStop twice already this week trying to pre-order it, and they just won't let you. It just, my goodness, I don't know when we're going to get to pre-order this thing, but it is a mess. So hopefully they can get this figured out. Hopefully the price doesn't raise, which is a big fear that everybody's worried with the tariffs that the price is going to raise on this. If it raises a little bit, that'd be one thing. But I read earlier today they were thinking upwards to 650 or higher for the same system that they already announced at 450 and 500. So,
and I believe people have already been complaining about the price regardless.
well, I don't think people are as upset about the price of the system. I mean, I'm sure some people are, but it's the price of the games, and we will get into that next, actually, because the next thing is Doug Belzer had an interview at the New York Switch 2 Play event, and he basically was trying to justify the price of these Switch 2 games. Obviously, Mario Kart being the big headline, $80 for Mario Kart, saying that this is a game that is so big and so vast. Said that Nintendo is going to use variable pricing, meaning that not every game that releases is going to be $80. It's going to be based off of the experience and all this other stuff, which, let's be honest, it's not going to be. Because if Mario Kart is a type of title that, like, let's look at Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is still being played by people today, 8 years after the launch, which is even, 11 years since it released on the Wii U originally, because they released so many, you know, tracks and everything for this game that people have played it throughout the whole Switch generation. So if he's expecting Mario Kart World to be that same situation where he expects it to be a title that, people will play kind of like a Minecraft or a Call of Duty, where people just are constantly going to be playing this for years and years and years to come, and they're not going to have to make a Mario Kart World 2 or a Mario Kart 10 or whatever they can make this game last throughout the whole Switch 2 generation like they did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
And possibly
then
the next console generation, like 8
well
was.
well but here's the thing, if that's the reason this is $80, is because he feels this is a game that people are going to play for years and years, and it's got a lot of content, which we do have a Mario Kart Direct coming up to explain a little bit more about this game, which might give us some more answers about it being that kind of title. Then obviously look at Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's $70. So you've got a open whatever, like a platforming Donkey Kong game, $70. So when, say, Mario Odyssey 2 comes out, or Mario, whatever they call it, 3D Mario, which is a very similar game to Donkey Kong, I'm sorry, but that game better be $70, if you understand what I'm trying to go with this, because 3D Mario, once you beat it, you beat it. Yeah, you can go back and 100% it and everything, but it's not the type of title like Mario Kart where they're expecting people to just constantly play Mario Kart.
Well, let's
in the multiplayer. So if that's their justification for the $80, then let's see if the next Mario 3D Mario is $70. Let's see if the next Legend of Zelda is $70. Because I believe what's going to happen is the games they know they can get $80 for, that's what they're going to charge.
And to a point, the guy is right. I mean, let's be honest. Mario Kart is one of those titles that you've got friends together, you play Mario Kart. It's just one of the most fun games. You play any version of Mario Kart. And it just so happens that Mario Kart 8 was the newest and the only version for 8 years. So, of course, people kept playing that because you want to face off against your friends. You're going to play Mario Kart. And Mario Kart is one of the most fun multiplayer experiences to be had. It's a racing game that non-racers still love. I'm not a big racing fan, but you know what I do love? I love me some Mario Kart. Throwing those red shells at people. It's the best racing combat game, and it's not the only. There's plenty of other clones like Kirby Air Riders. There's plenty of Mario Kart clones, but it's the best one. And if you got your friends together, are you going and saying, hey, you want to play Kirby Air Riders? No, you're saying you want to play Mario Kart. Do you want to play the Sonic racing games? No, you want to play Mario Kart. And I love Sonic. Don't get me wrong. Sonic, I prefer Sonic over Mario. I think we've established this. I still
Yeah,
want to play, I still rather play Mario Kart.
yeah. So Doug Bowser also in this interview kind of tried to justify it by saying, you go to the movie theater and you pay, however much for a movie ticket for a 2 hour experience. And he kind of was going into that detail of, well, that's $12 for 2 hours, that's $6 an hour, blah blah blah. And if you break down certain video games, can you break it down in that situation? So I did. I actually broke it down. I kind of used Legend of Zelda as an example. I've put over 200 hours in Legend of Zelda, and just to make it easy math, Tears of the Kingdom was $70. I put 200 hours into that game. I paid 40 cents an hour. So I don't know. It kind of depends on how you look at it. Like if you get that value out of that game, but if you play through a game once and it only took you 6 hours to beat, you're paying $10 an hour for that $60 experience or whatever the situation is.
Yeah, we
So
don't look at
so so not everybody looks at it that way, but he kind of used that in his argument about, well, you go to a movie theater and you pay for a ticket for a 2 hour experience. You're getting this and you get to play it over and over again, and this game can last you hundreds of hours of gameplay.
yes,
Um,
but I
so
don't
so
think
I understand where he was going with that. So I
I
went ahead
don't
and I went ahead and did my math.
I don't because you know what? If there's that movie that came out that was 2 hours, well the much better movie that's 3 hours long, guess what? It's the same ticket price. The same ticket price for a 3 hour movie or four. I mean, the only 4 hour movie I'm aware of is Gone with the Wind, and I'm sure it was the same ticket price as all the other movies that weren't 4 hours or 3 hours. We don't do charges based on how long the gameplay is. He's he's got an $80. He's putting an $80 price on it because he knows he can get away with it. Because let's be honest, we love Mario Kart and we'll probably pay it.
This is true. Okay, so moving on, another thing Nintendo has gave us is game sizes, which if you watched the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, you know that there's only 256 gig on the Switch 2 starting out. You can get bigger memory cards, which I know Nintendo, I believe, sells up to 256 gig, I think, that are actually Nintendo. GameStop actually is offering a 512 and a 1 terabyte gig, but it's gonna set you back. Having this is pretty good because I was kind of curious if my game's not all on the cartridge and I got to download updates and certain things like that. Um, how big are these games going to be? And it looks like Mario Kart World, which is going to be one of the bigger games that Nintendo is releasing, is 23.4 gig. Donkey Kong Bonanza 10 gig. The GameCube app is going to be 3.5, which I believe that I would assume that's going to raise in size after they release more and more games. I would assume. Jamboree is going to be 7.7. Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition will be 5.7, which kind of makes me wonder, is that 5.7, which I know we don't know the answer, and same with the Mario Party. Is that 5.7 and 7.7 after the Switch 2 edition updates, or is that including the original game? Because like somebody like me, I own both of those games on cartridge, and I'm going to have to just buy the upgrade pass. And I'm kind of curious if it's still going to be that file size for me to get the upgrade pass, or if it's going to be a little less gigs for me to just, since I already own the games on cartridge. So that'll be curious to see how that shakes up. Um, but starting off, when I buy the Switch 2, definitely year one, doesn't look like I really need to buy a memory card immediately. And considering they're using micro SD Express, which is kind of a newer SD card, newer technology, the price is kind of up there for these memory cards. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I'd be better off, and everybody else out there can kind of do what they feel is best. I almost wonder if I'm better off to wait to buy a memory card when I actually need it.
Hmm.
Because I know when the Switch first released, I mean, and the Switch only had I can't even remember. I should have looked it up before the show. 12 or 16 gig, or it might have been 32 gig on the
I think it
Switch.
was
I think it was
32. It's very
32.
small.
It
I
was a
had to get a
very
memory card very quickly.
it was a very small amount, and I actually pre-ordered the memory card with the system just to raise the gig. But I've had my Switch for the whole duration of the 8 years. I have over 70 games. I've never had to, upgrade or buy a new memory card. It's everything. But I also buy all my games physically, so not a lot of it goes on the hard drive. You know what I mean? So I don't have a huge issue with space on my Switch because I don't buy digital games on a regular basis. I have a few on there, but for the most part, I don't really buy digital games. Now with Mario Kart World, if I buy the bundle, obviously I've got 23.4 gig. I know I'm going to have to use right away because I'm not going to own Mario Kart physically, which I'm still kind of in a tug of war debate with myself on what I want to do there. Do I want to spend the $80 and actually buy the Mario Kart World, or do I just buy the bundle where I save $30? Which now with the tariff situation, it might even be more. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But but anyhow, I kind of wanted to touch base on these game sizes. But as for the Nintendo made games, I mean, sizes aren't hateful. We're not looking at, I've played Call of Duty on Xbox, and I think it's taken well over 300 gig out of my hard drive at this point
So you're
with
saying
with
Mario
all the
Kart World,
daggone updates.
and they're saying Mario Kart World is so big and vast, it only needs 23.4 gigabytes and is worth $80. Little fishy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I know it's going to be great. I'd have to look up the file size for whatever the Tears of the Kingdom was. That was vast. I mean, that was a huge world. I guess I don't know what the size of that was, and it was an amazing big open world game. So
If we're gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure these files, I'm pretty sure the file sizes are bigger on the Switch. I'm guessing this is based on some kind of new technology to get so much into so little. Because this just seems really really small on the files. Like these are the sizes of some of my indie games that you bought that aren't like full titles. Like these are really small file sizes based on what I'm used to on the Xbox or the PlayStation.
yeah. So speaking of file sizes and games in general, I kind of want to touch base on the game key card situation. I know there's been a lot of uproar about these game key cards, and there you can see Street Fighter 6 and Bravely Default are two of the games that have already had that little game key card warning. But the Switch was no stranger. Matter of fact, I should have asked you to grab it before we started. Didn't you buy Sparks of Hope? And wasn't there just a download code in that
No,
box?
it was actually the first one, Kingdom Battle. I bought it was $20 and I opened it up and it was just a code. There wasn't I didn't even get a card. It was just a code. I have the case for Kingdom Battle, but it was just a code.
So you don't even
Um,
have a cartridge for that game.
I do
So
not.
so everybody's in uproar about this, and I just want to point out that this is not a stranger. Matter of fact, I saw Prince of Persia, whatever that new Prince of Persia side-scrolling Metroidvania style game. I've actually saw it at Walmart for only $20, and I almost picked it up. But if it wasn't for that digital code warning on the box, I might have bought it. I didn't buy it because there was a digital code warning, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to buy it digitally, I'll just go on the eShop if I want it and wait for a sale. Um, if I buy a game in the store, I want it physically. I don't want. But anyhow, the reason I bring this up is I kind of want to put my spin, my take on this situation where everybody's upset about these game key cards. But here's the reality: these game key cards are no different, in my opinion, than buying a modern Xbox or PlayStation title. Every time I buy an Xbox or PlayStation title, first thing I have to do is download everything to the hard drive, even though I bought the game physically. And all that disc really does is gives me access to the game. And I have to put the disc in just to prove that I can play the game. With these game key cards, it's essentially no different than putting a disc in an Xbox or PlayStation that already takes up how much file size on your hard drive, like a digital title, except you've got to use that disc as your key card to play that game. And that's kind of how modern video games have been for at least 2 generations now, with really the exception of Nintendo kind of keeping physical media still alive, because a lot of Nintendo games, and I'm not going to say all of them, a lot of these games you buy, you pop the cartridge in, you get to play it right away. The only way you don't is if there's some kind of patch that they make you download, and it takes like 2 minutes. It's not very long. But the game itself is on the cartridge. You pop the cartridge in, you play the game, and it doesn't take up all this space on your hard drive like a digital title. That's how Switch has been the whole time, other than your, like you said, you bought Mario Rabbids, and it was a code. It was a digital code. There was not even a cartridge in there. So instead of these digital codes, now you're going to get these game key cards, which are actual physical cards, and it's essentially it is a digital title. Once you pop it in, you have to download the whole game. There's nothing technically on the card except for your official access to that game. But here's the benefit of this. Now that they do game key cards instead of digital codes, you can actually take that to GameStop, maybe get on Facebook Marketplace. You can sell that game just like a physical game. And then the next person just has to download the digital title, but that physical card is your access to that game. So you're getting the benefit of physical media. Yeah, you got to pop the card in to play because you didn't buy it digitally off the eShop. But to me, isn't that better than an actual game code? I mean, in my opinion, it is.
I'm confused what the difference is. I mean, that's essentially, like you said, that's essentially what we've been doing for years. So I guess I'm confused why this game key card is even a story.
I think it's because Nintendo fans aren't used to that process, where Xbox and PlayStation fans have been doing this already for 2 generations of video games. Ever since the Xbox One and the PS4, we've had to download everything onto the system, even though we still have the physical disc. It's more and more like a PC, where you have to download it and install it like a PC game than it is an actual physical disc. So yeah, I don't know why there's such an uproar on this, and I kind of wanted to touch base on it because let's be honest, isn't this better? If you want physical games, this is better. This is better alternative than getting a box with a code, because that code you just put in is now locked to you, and you will never be able to get rid of that game. That game's locked to you. You can't sell that game if you want to sell it. Like if you decide, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing okay, this is the only way that this would make sense that it's different. If you use these game key cards and you only had to put it in the first time to download it, but then you can still play it like a digital copy, and say like you sold that to GameStop and they sell it to someone else, and then when that person puts it in, then you just lose your copy once somebody else downloads it.
No, that's not how this works. You have to have the game key card in the system.
Yeah, I get that. I'm saying is that's the only way that this is news to me. Otherwise, this is just like everything else. This makes no sense to me.
Okay, so the reason they're doing this is because they want to save the money on like for instance, I think I heard Street Fighter 6 was 64 gigs. They didn't want to pay for a 64 gig cartridge. Okay? So instead of paying for a 64 gig cartridge to sell this game to everybody, now they're getting a cartridge that's basically blank. And I don't know how much gig it takes for a game key card. Let's just pretend it's 1 gig. It's cheaper for Capcom to release the game with a blank card than paying for it's kind of like buying memory cards, okay? You go out and you buy a 256 gig memory card for the Switch 2, it's $60. But I looked for the 1 terabyte one at GameStop and it's almost $200. It's like $190.
So what you're saying,
so the bigger the memory card is, the more the cartridge costs. It's the same with these guys making Switch games. It's the size of the cartridge that they use and how much space is on that cartridge. Now, the one thing that doesn't make sense is I heard Bravely Default's only 11 gig. So why did they waste the time with the game key card for Bravely Default?
So essentially what you're saying is the game key card is more of a new thing for the
Switch
producers and the creators and really doesn't affect us, the consumer, at all.
Well, I mean, it affects us due to the fact that people who want physical media wants that game and they want the physical game. Because let me just play this whole 10 years down the road. Switch 2 servers go down because the Switch 3 is out and they've decided there's not enough people playing the Switch. This is the problem with digital media. I'm kind of painting a picture of why digital media is kind of scary. I own 70 games at least on the Switch. If they weren't physical and they were all digital, and Nintendo decides we're no longer going to support and we're going to shut the servers down for Nintendo Switch in like 10 years, none of those games are going to work anymore because the servers have been shut down. The physical cartridges should still work. I should be able to still pop in a game just like a Super Nintendo game, a Nintendo game, a 64 game. I should be able to pop it in and be able to turn the system on and play the game, no problem.
I think that's wrong.
If you buy a digital title and they shut these servers down, do you even own these games? And that's kind of the scary thing about
the server situation only matters if it's a multiplayer game or if or the game is specifically an online component.
What if they shut the eShop down and you have no access to it?
Then you can't buy a new game, but I can still play a bunch of my digital games that you can't buy anymore on the 360. That only affects if there's an online component. The online is the only time that the servers matter. If it's an offline digital, like a single player game, that's not going to affect it. That doesn't have an online component, it doesn't affect it. You can still play the single player games. But if you like the multiplayer, they gotta keep those servers up to play the multiplayer. So this really only affects multiplayer games. Like Street Fighter 6, that might affect that game because that game, but that's the same with the physical copy. If the company decides to stop accepting the servers for an online game, it doesn't matter whether it's physical or digital.
Okay, so anyhow, so there it is. Game key cards. It's causing up a debate. And speaking of the game cards, game key or otherwise. Turns out, just like when the Switch came out, turns out these things taste bad. So, yeah, apparently there's a bad taste to these games. And the reason Nintendo does this is because they don't want little kids swallowing these games. So if they put some kind of coating on there that's really kind of nasty, they'll throw it up and they'll spit it out of their mouth. So I guarantee you're going to see a bunch of YouTube videos of people tasting Nintendo Switch games. Because guess what? Just like when the Switch came out, we found out the cartridges taste bad. So they're not very tasty.
Fair
So there
enough.
you go. So that made news. And then the last topic I want to talk about before we get to our rankings
We
is
have two more topics.
two more topics. Okay, I've got on my list one, but I will bring this one topic up and then I'll let you bring up the last topic because I must have forgot to write something down. Is the Korean leaks that have happened on the Nintendo? I believe it was the Nintendo website in Korea. Revealed a baby Pauline hanging off of Donkey Kong's necktie. So in the American version, or I would assume most of the world, you have Oddrock, which is the new character in the Switch 2 game Donkey Kong Bonanza. But in the Korean website, there was artwork of like a baby Pauline. That's the only way I can describe it. Looks like Pauline, just small, babyfied, hanging off of his necktie. And if you can see, she has like a purple bracelet on there, which kind of leads to, is Pauline actually Oddrock? Are they trying to keep something from us with the trailers and stuff that they've already showed? So yeah, we're kind of very curious what's going on here and why Korea's website leaked this. But not only did they leak this, but a couple days later, they leaked on Mario Kart. They leaked a map. They've revealed there is a Rainbow Road in the new Mario Kart, which I don't know if that's really breaking news. Because
I'd be surprised if it's not there.
yeah, I'd be surprised if there's not. And if everybody who looked at the map that they showed thought that that's the map and you're not going to get anything else out of it, I mean, come on. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, of course, there's going to be secrets and surprises in this game. But Korea officially kind of leaked it on their website that there is a Rainbow Road, which tells you that there might be more secrets in this game. But we do have a direct coming up, I believe, next week to give us a little bit more insight about Mario Kart World. So we'll find out some more. And you said you got one more piece of news left for us?
Yeah, apparently Nintendo made a
okay.
much cheaper Japanese language only model, and Duolingo is poking fun at it. Which I do Duolingo, so this kind of this is cute.
Okay, yeah, I did hear about this. They did this because most Switch systems are region free, meaning, like, I don't know if you can tell on my copy of Metroid Dread, I got it from the local video game store, not GameStop, from a like a mom and pop place. It's actually the European version, and they sold it to me, but it plays in the Switch just fine, no problem. Because most Switches are region free, where you can play any Switch game from around the world. But it turns out, for whatever reason, they decided to release a Switch 2 in Japan that was Japanese language only, which is not region free. I don't know if this is to prevent other countries from buying it. They actually gave it a cheaper price as well. So it's kind of weird that they went ahead and did this. It's almost like over $100 cheaper. So yeah, that is why Duolingo is poking fun, because they're like, hey, learn Japanese and you can save over $100. That's kind of what Duolingo is kind of poking fun at.
Well, yeah,
But
it's essentially saying they're a language app where you can learn other languages. So they're like, hey, why don't you try out our app, learn Japanese, and then you can buy the Japanese only console.
yeah, so that is pretty crazy news that Nintendo went ahead and did that. It's weird because with the pre-order situation and then this Japanese only language, they're really making sure that basically, I think Americans can't pick this up from other places. I don't know what the deal is, but they're making it hard for us to get a hold of one of these, because usually I think people could. I think what they were worried about is people could buy it from Japan, ship it over here, and then they would save money by buying the Japanese version, because you can switch the language most of the time on these systems, because they're region free, but not with this one. It's only in Japanese. So if you are in Japan, you can save some money if you don't care about other languages. It's kind of crazy. But that's going to do it for our headlines. All we got left to do is our rankings, and then that'll do it. Today we have decided to rank our favorite video game weapons. There was a lot of debate on this one between the two of us on what's more iconic. There's some weapons that did not make the list that I know both of us both felt should have. Both of us in different reasonings. But we're going to start our list off, which I'm going to kind of give this one to you. I'll name it off, and then you can talk more about it, because I'm really not a big fan of the series. Number 5 is Hidden Blade from the Assassin's Creed series. I've only really played Valhalla extensively. I haven't really played any of the other Assassin's Creed games. But this was like top one on your list.
Yeah, the hidden blade is an iconic weapon for the assassins. It is in every single game, and there's also always a story when they get the hidden blade. You do not become an assassin until you get the hidden blade, and they have to actually cut off one of their fingers. I want to say it's either the middle or the ring finger, because essentially, number one, it's a rite of passage. It's part of their religion, to cut off their finger. And part of that is because when you take the hidden blade out, it goes where your finger would be. So you cut off the finger and it makes it easier for the blade to come out. It's just the blade is on an armband, and it comes out. You know what? I don't exactly know the lore of how it comes out. I don't know if there's a button they have to press or what, but it is used in every single game. You get it as soon as you become.
There probably is a button, like what, the X button or the Y button, and then it comes out. Am I sure?
No, it's not. That's not how it works.
Is it the A or the B button?
It's an assassin. It's used when you assassinate someone. You never use it. Yeah. I meant on the actual
I'm
armband.
aware.
But you use it whenever you're sneaking up behind someone, when you jump down on someone and to kill them. It's not exactly a weapon you use while you are fighting. You have swords and other weapons. This is a specific weapon specifically for assassination attempts. And to me, Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite games of all time, and the Hidden Blade is iconic to go along with that. Love the Hidden Blade.
Okay, well,
Great
that
weapon.
is number 5, the Hidden Blade for the Assassin's Creed series. This one was my top favorite. In my opinion, one of the most iconic weapons in video game is number 4, the Master Sword in the Legend of Zelda series. It first appeared in A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. It is the sword that seals the darkness, and it is a very important part of the Legend of Zelda video games, where you usually have to go into the the secret forest, and pull it out. And you usually have to get this sword to defeat Ganon at the end of every game. To me, it's just iconic. There's been toys of this. I think Lego's done this with the tree Lego set. I'm pretty sure has the sword in that Lego set and everything. I mean, this is just an iconic as iconic can come sword for the Legend of Zelda, and I, I think it's one of the most iconic swords or weapons in video game history.
Don't know how
Very
it's number one on your list.
one of the most recognizable swords in video game history. That is number 4, the Master Sword from the Legend of Zelda series. Number 3 is iconic, but in a very annoyingly way where I think most of us hate this weapon, but we can all admit it's probably too powerful, and that is the blue shell from Mario Kart. Anybody who's in first place in Mario Kart can attest that this is bullcrap. You could be leading a race and somebody in 8th place, or now there's going to be 24 racers. If number 24 has no chance of winning and then throws this, ultimately you're just being a jerk. You're just keeping me from winning.
Oh, I love the blue shell
because of your jealousy. I would love to see this kind of like changed around a little bit in Mario Kart World, where it might actually give the user a benefit. Because how many times have you been playing Mario Kart? Do you ever get the blue shield in second place? No. They give the blue shield to somebody in the back of the pack that don't even have a chance. What did I say?
Shield.
Oh, yeah, they give the blue shell to somebody in the back of the pack that doesn't even have a chance at winning. This weapon sucks, but it's iconic. So yeah, I have a lot to say about the blue shell.
I debated on whether I wanted the red shell or the blue shell, and I just felt like the shell that everyone hates to see is the blue shell. And the best part is when it's going past you or hits you.
Yeah.
And you know it's coming, and then you just get to enjoy like bye-bye first place. And then the person knows about it.
Yeah. So definitely the blue shell has always been just a pain in the butt for anybody who leads a race in Mario Kart. But there it is at number 3 on our weapons ranking, the blue shell. Now, number 2 is from the Gears of War series. It is the Lancer. And just to be clear, it is the gun with the chainsaw. I remember playing with this for the first time. I believe the first game of the series was on 360. I just absolutely loved this weapon with the chainsaw attachment. I mean, you could shoot and you could melee at the same time. To me, this was just the perfect weapon, and it is just, in my opinion, one of the most iconic weapons in video game.
And they still use it to this day. It's a very good rifle as well. It's one of the best weapons in the game, and it's always your like starting weapon. Like, they've added other ones. They have one that's a Lancer that has like it's more like what we have in real life, where a bayonet. They have one of those where you have to rush and hit people with it. But this is what put Gears of War on the map. This is what made Gears of War different than any other shooter. To the fact that you get close and then chainsaw people. It's bloody. It's violent. It is fantastic. One of my favorite weapons in gaming history. Hence why it's number 2.
Yeah. The Lancer is definitely an awesome weapon, and definitely we all can remember it. But the number 1 spot is going to go to Cloud Strife's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII. I mean, what more can you say about this sword? It was just iconic. It was in all the artwork for the game.
You want a sword that looks cool and is way better than like a Master Sword. Right here, the Buster Sword. Now, there's some other swords in gaming history that I'm very sad didn't make the list, but for some reason the Master Sword made it. The Keyblade from the Kingdom Hearts series. Awesome weapon, and it did not make our list. Another one is the Gunblade. The Gunblade is a cool one from Final Fantasy VIII. No, I didn't put the Gunblade on my list only because the Gunblade, I didn't want to put 2 Final Fantasy iconic weapons on the list.
I was kind of thinking about that when we were talking about the Lancer. Is really you could kind of thank the Gunblade for the Lancer. Really, I mean, think about it. It's dual. It's gun and
Yeah.
a sword. I mean, it's kind of the same concept, just a little bit more extreme, and obviously that game was a little bit more violent. Gears of War was.
I guess I didn't really make the comparison because there is something similar to the Lancer in real life. Like we did have bayonets on rifles back in the 1800s, so I think they didn't really focus on the gun blade as much as they focused on essentially making a bayonet, but with a chainsaw upgrade instead of a sword at
Right.
the end of it.
Yeah, other weapons that just barely made the list was like the Mega Buster from Mega Man. That is an iconic one. The Golden Gun from Golden Eye.
See, I didn't pick the golden gun personally myself because in my eyes, the golden gun is a real gun from, well, not a real gun, but it's a gun from the James Bond series. And I didn't really fully feel like that was an iconic gaming weapon. I know 007 GoldenEye was an iconic game, and the Golden Gun was really cool in that game. But I know I debated hard on the Golden Gun, but ultimately, what didn't go on the reason it didn't go on my list is simply the because it's not necessarily a video game weapon. It is a movie weapon that is in a video game. And it would be different if, like, say they made a 007 game and they made a gun specifically for that game. I think I would look at it possibly slightly different, but the Golden Gun is part of James Bond lore, to my understanding.
Yeah, and I understand the concept or the idea of what you're saying, but GoldenEye was such an iconic shooting game for the 64 that everybody remembers playing that I just thought it was kind of iconic enough to put on my list. Anyhow, I had it on my list.
That's why I just wasn't on mine. I thought about the Golden Gun, but that's ultimately why I didn't go to my list, is because I was trying to go with specifically. It's why I don't use like a batarang from Batman, because that's an iconic Batman weapon. And yeah, it was cool to play in the Arkham games, but it's not really a video game weapon. It's a Batman weapon.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for us today. You can find us at MPX Game Talk at gmail.com. Where can they find you, Blaze?
They can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find me on the X at Dragon Blazer Pro. You can also email me at dragonblazerproductions@gmail.com.
Okay, well, that's game over for now.
Press start for the next exciting adventure.
I've been Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
Thank you for watching.